Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today it's time for another personal game of mine. This time against one of my top students, Yak. And well, he's a very strong player, and I'm very proud of him. I'm happy that he's giving me so much hassle in our games. In fact, man, I think we played 3 games. It's been 3 draws so far. So let's go and see. I'm going ahead and calling this one bad move. So we start off. I was with the white pieces this time. Knight f3. Knight f6, g3, g6. Here I just decided just to go ahead and fianchetto, as I really didn't want to get into too much opening theory. Bishop g2, bishop g7, castles and castles. c4, c6. Interesting way to play against the c4 line. c6 is definitely a solid way to play. With that being said, I was happy to see it, since I'm just going to be getting a very strong center here. d4, d5, knight b to d2, knight b to d7, b3, knight e4. A very interesting move by Yak here. Definitely not the best in my opinion. I didn't want to get into any kind of struggles here, so I just continued with bishop to b2. With that being said, knight takes e4 definitely was a stronger way to play against it. Although you do have to be careful on some of these lines. After d takes on e4, something like knight g5, well, you can't play f5 right away, as this just drops knight e6 with the exchange. But here I was looking at lines like knight to f6, and then there's ideas that you can't take on e4 right away because the d4 pawn is hanging. That being said, e3 is what the computer recommends, and yeah, it's about equal here. Not a real way that I like to play. The pawns are doubled here, but it does end up freeing black's game. So I decided just to keep it more simple, and I just played bishop b2 here. Knight to f6. I definitely didn't think this was a very good move. And again, I just keep on developing. Rook c1, bishop d7. I'm not sure what the bishop's doing here. So now I go ahead and make my move, as all my pieces are now ready. I really like to play like the old-fashioned way, at least with the Russians, as they say. You know, develop all your pieces and then start attacking. And here I came up with the plan. I'm going to try and kick this knight out of here. So I started with knight takes, and then knight to e5. The idea here is to play f3, e4, and just get a very strong center. Well, Yak has his own ideas here. He played knight back to f6. And I could just continue developing here. But again, I had an idea. I want to go ahead and take the center, so I played pawn f3 with the idea of e4. Here, Yak went ahead and played bishop f5, which I don't think was a very good move here. I'm not too sure what his idea was, other than trying to stop me from playing e4. But that cannot be stopped as well. I can just go ahead and play rook e1, and e4 will be happening regardless. Another interesting idea here that he might have tried, which was something I was looking at, was something like bishop to h6. It's going ahead and looking at this e3 square, so bishop check, and even putting a little bit of pressure on this rook. With that being said, I was planning on rook c3, and then again preparing to play something like e4. The rook looks a little bit weird here, but I think I should be able to get a good position out of this. Alright, back to the game. Bishop f5 was played, and I was happy to see this. I just went ahead and played rook e1, and e4 is on the way. Here he played knight d7 like I thought he would, and, well, I've just played pawn to e4 right away. Here, bishop to e6. Another way to play this, I'm not sure if I like this one so much, is knight takes on e5. Here I was just planning on taking on f5, and, well, I'm gonna have the bishop pair now, and yeah, I think this is just gonna be a very good position for me. Knight back to d7, and I can either take on g6 right now, or just play like queen c2 or queen to d3. I would have been interested to see how I would have continued from here. Anyways, in the game, e4 was played. He went ahead and just played bishop e6 here, and I kept looking for ways to expand. And, well, I want to take on d5, but the bishop's not connected with this just yet. So here I found a nice move here, knight to d3. And the idea was either to play e5 and continue with f4 here. I don't want to make trades that this will just help out his position. And he actually played the best move here. He takes on c4, d takes c4. This is going to go ahead and give him some open lines. Even ideas about c5 in the future. Or, as he played in the game, he plays queen to b6, putting pressure on the bishop, but then also the pawn. I had calculated all this already, so c5 is the move I played. And here I don't like what he played. He went ahead and played queen b5. Here I think he was just getting a little bit lazy here and just trying to make some fast moves. That being said, I was able to calculate, I think, about 10 moves ahead here, and I saw I was going to be getting a nice advantage. All these moves that you're going to see are nice and forced. Unfortunately, I messed up toward the end at the very last moment. So here, after all the calculations, I went ahead and played pawn to a4. He played immediately what I thought he would play, queen b3, and you know what? Go ahead and take a second here. See if you can find the best move here for white. Here again, I had planned this move a few moves out and calculated a good 4 or 5 more moves just because I knew he was going to play 2 faster and play queen to b3. I mean, if you look at it, it actually looks like a decent move. There's pressure about making trades here, or maybe you can just take and then play something like bishop e6. But white to move and get a good advantage. What do you play? Alright, hopefully you found it. Here I had found the nice idea here of playing pawn to d5, one of the top moves in the position. It cuts off the connection for the queen as for it being defended, and well, this bishop is just going to have a hard time here. Here I get a very nice advantage because I'm going to be getting 2 passed pawns. I'm sorry, 2 strong pawns in the center, and well, they're not passed pawns yet, but they're both candidate passed pawns, and this is definitely giving me a good way to hold the advantage. So his queen is hanging, so, well, there's not too many moves that you can try in this position, and he just went ahead and played the main line, what I thought he'd play. He went ahead and played queen takes on d1, because if you don't, you'd be losing your bishop, and I went ahead and took back, and then he played pawn takes. Again, it doesn't really matter what you play in this line. It's always going to be giving me these good pawns right here. If you will go ahead and try bishop takes b2, knight takes on b2, and again, I have these nice pawns here, and they're both defended. After c takes, because the bishop's getting trapped. Bishop to f5. Well, I just have g4 here, and uh-oh. Where is this bishop going? It's going nowhere. It just got trapped. So the main line was best. He went ahead and played c takes d5 right away, but the same idea kind of comes into fruition. I go ahead and take, and then I found this nice idea of knight f4. So again, he cannot take on d5, or else knight takes e6 check, pawn takes, and then rook takes d7 just gives me an extra piece with a very good game here, as I'll probably just be winning with this guy right here. This guy's going to become a passed pawn pretty soon when b7 falls. Alright, back to the game. Of course, Yak did not fall for this. He went ahead and played knight f6, and here I did not play the best move. In fact, with this move, one single bad move, I lost my whole advantage. Here, the simple move here of e takes d5 was to be played, and this is what I had been this is what I had planned before, and what I should have just played here. Unfortunately, I got a little too ambitious and ended up playing knight takes on d5, and this loses a big chunk of my advantage. The game becomes just about equal here, and you know, Yak, to his credit, just plays very solid, and I wasn't able to get anything out of this. He played rook fd8. Of course, taking here was what I was hoping he would do, but yeah, Yak is too smart for that now. He's a strong 1900. We're hoping that he'll make master someday. Hopefully soon. I think his goal was to try and make it within the next few years. So rook f to d8, pawn to f4, rook to d7, and yeah, again, there's not too much to do here. Trades will just go into very equal endgames. And here, I just played knight c3. This was a nice little trappy move that I was hoping that he would fall for. Unfortunately for me, he does play the best move, just plays rook c8, putting pressure on the pawn. In fact, now I have to be a little bit careful as my pawn is getting a bit weak here. Here, I was hoping that he would play rook takes, and I was planning on playing, let's see, what was it? Let me calculate real quick. I was planning on playing rook takes here. And the idea is that after something like rook to c8, I was planning on going pawn to e5. And where does this knight go? Knight would most likely go to d7 here. And I could just take here on b7. And again, the game is just about equal here, but I definitely can't claim too big of an advantage. And I mean, it kind of goes into the main line. In the real game, he played rook c8. I played pawn e5 and offered a draw, which he happily went ahead and just said yes to. And here, I think he's just holding it here. After rook takes, I'm forced to play knight takes on d1 here, and then after knight to d7, here I'll probably just take on b7, and then knight takes or rook takes c5 here. There's really not too much in this position, at least to play for. I could have played on, but I was actually getting a little bit low on time here, so I just decided to go ahead and take a draw. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. This is a very nice game. Remember, it only takes one single bad move. You could take so long to build your empire, and after one slight inaccuracy, you get into a drawish, if not lost, game. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you in the next one.